Hey, it's Tori, and welcome back to my channel. Today we welcome Meek from Visions of Atlantis to the channel. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's a pleasure to see you and talk to you.
It's awesome to get to chat with you again. It was really nice getting to meet you in person as well. You've got a brand new album coming out, Pirates 2 Armada, that is out on July 5th via Napalm Records. You've already had 2 singles out so far, Armada and Monsters. How have you found that response?
It's been amazing. Like honestly, when you release a good record, and humbly say that Pirates was a good record, especially in terms of feedback, from our fans, from the Symphony Metal fans, for the growth of audience that it brought to Visions of Atlantis. Because before Pirates, we were definitely a smaller band, and it's no shame in saying this. So we kind of felt some responsibility before releasing the first singles, because it was like, okay, now we have to match it or top it, hopefully top it, but at least match it, And for a band, it's always, fresh music. It's always the best because it's new, it has a different vibe. So every band will always tell you, oh, the next record is the best one. The upcoming album, the upcoming songs are the best. But at the very end of the day, the judges are the fans, So yeah, there was some, the weight of responsibility, I would say. And it turned out that people loved it, like the offer, I believe it's a bit different compared to the previous one, which is good, but not so different to, have people criticizing and say, oh, they went a completely different way compared to what they were doing before. So yeah, we are happy.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel it's a much bigger, grander sound than the previous one. And also within excuse me, the production on your music videos as well is just like next level. It's just like watching mini movies. Could you tell us in your own words what the album is about, and also why you decided to do a continuation of this storyline?
So let's say that, and this also connects to what you just said about the videos. We are trying to build a universe here. It's not only offering music, like we believe that
Mm-hmm.
our offer, our artistic offer, let's call it like this, it's a competition between lyrics, the stories that we are telling, the video side, the universe that we are creating that needs, a visual aspect, and the music itself, which of course it's the main thing, being as musicians, but we want to try to bring it to the next level, as you said, to merge these 3 arts, literature, cinematography, and music. And this is the reason why we are trying to make everything bigger, because at the very core of what we are doing, there are novels with a morale, stories that we are telling, because we believe that people need storytelling, no matter if you're 40, 50, 60, 12, 8 years old. We want to hear stories. This is why we play video games. This is why we go to the cinema. This is why we read books. And these things are, ageless. Everyone in its own universe searches for this. And Pirates was 12 novels that we were offering to our crowd. Pirates 2 is like the second book of the same author, with 12
Mm-hmm.
more novels within the pirate universe, because this is what we chose. But behind the clothes that we are putting on, behind our outfits, there is, this storytelling reason, and we want to make it trustworthy. If you go to Marvel, to cinema to watch a Marvel movie, either you sell it properly, or who buys a human being that becomes green and grows and then comes back in, or who buys Doctor Strange. You have to make it believable, trustworthy.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why we need to create a visual universe that is trustworthy. We can't be just musicians playing on stage. We need the storytelling, we need the musical aspect, because people need to be convinced of what we're doing. And yeah, we started with Pirates with 12 stories. Now we have more stories to tell, and I'm already writing new music, so there will be a continuation. We have more stories to tell. Clemmy writes the lyrics. The concepts behind
Mm-hmm.
everything is from Clemmy. I write the music, and she writes the lyrics now. And yeah, there is still much inspiration in our veins. So let's see where this goes.
That's awesome. I love how you describe that, because people do need, it's like that form of escapism, if you will, from everyday life, and people need that within their music that they listen to as well. And just seeing even the visual art that you guys create within these stories is incredible. I mean, I'm a huge pirate lover anyway, so you drew me in with that. But then just seeing the band's growth and your growth is amazing. And you started on talking about like your creative process. Could you go more into that with when it comes to like composing or writing your songs?
Sure. So this is this is the hardest part for me to describe, because sometimes no, honestly, sometimes I feel like I don't even have to be credited, as songwriter,
Hmm.
because it's, when I hear a melody, when I hear a song, it's something that is a bit ethereal to me. It's something that is, in the ether, in
Hmm.
the air. It's an aura that arrives in me. And my mission is to listen to what I'm hearing and transpose it into music, So yeah, it's not like I'm brainy when I compose. It's not like, okay, I need to find a melody that goes in this way. I need to find a rhythm, a pattern, a riff that goes in this way. I hear stuff, and I feel like I'm just a transcriber between what's happening somewhere and what I'm putting down. So this is why sometimes it's even hard to say, okay, I wrote a song, because the real thing is that I've heard the song in my mind. So it's really something coming from my subconscious. It's not really, it's hard to explain, but this is the incipit. This is where everything starts, especially for Pirates 2. Clemmy and I wrote everything, like 100% of the records comes from the two of us. So I hear this, I put it down on my computer. I know how to play, it's a big word, guitars and bass. I know how to write drum patterns, and of course I know how to record my voice, and I know how to compose and to write orchestrations, because this is where I come from. Like my original instrument is the piano. So the first step is I put down everything, and then this goes to Clemmy. I give it to Clemmy. Clemmy tried to sing the melody that I've put down, and with fake lyrics, with random words, and we see how what's been written suits her voice, because it's extremely important that our music dresses Clemmy's voice properly. Being
Hmm.
her, like, I consider her the main singer of Visions of Atlantis. Of course, there is this duality, but I myself consider myself, as the secondary singer. It's not like it's a 70-30 maybe, or 60-40. It's not like 80-20, but still she is the main voice of Visions of Atlantis to my in my mind, in my perception of our music. So it's extremely important it suits her. Then we start arranging stuff. We start, tweaking melodies, adjusting, refining, polishing. If something doesn't work, we might rewrite it completely. For instance, there is a song called Land of the Free, where my verse, Clemmy didn't find comfortable with it, and she came up with the melody that you can hear in the verses right now. And even in the chorus, she was absolutely peculiar and fundamental for the songwriting. So we cooperate, we collaborate together. And when the demo is ready, she starts thinking of the concept, the story, because every melody and every song evokes something in her mind, and this is where the creation of the universe begins for her. And it's like the ball, since there is the European Cup now, the ball passes through from me to her, and it's her creative universe that begins.
It's such an interesting way, because I get to talk to, with doing, having my channel and now getting to interview musicians like yourself. It's so interesting hearing how everybody differs and how, people work together, like, and how you and Clemmy have this like super interesting working relationship when it comes to writing, and how you do the melody first and then the lyrics and the storyline comes later. It's just, it blows my mind. do you have a personal do you have a personal favorite on the album?
Yes, absolutely. Actually, I have two. One is Tonight I'm Alive,
Hmm.
which snare roll is going to be the next single, and it's going to be released on the 2nd of July. So I don't know when this interview will be released, but either, like on or just shortly after or shortly before. So this is one of my absolute favorites. And it's because of the way it was born. This song was born in Marrakesh, because I was in the main square, which is called Jima El Fna, and I've heard, the rhythms, the rhythms played with ethnic instruments by these local musicians, street musicians that
Hmm.
were gathering together in the main square of Marrakesh just for the pleasure of playing. And this was so pure, so real, so spontaneous that it kind of gave me something, and I was like, okay, I truly want to have this feeling, this sensation, this emotion in some of our songs, in Visions of Atlantis song. And this is why this song is, you will hear it soon, it's so different, from everything else that we have done. And the other one for me, it's The Dead of the Sea, which is the 7.15 minutes, 7 minutes 15 seconds song. It's a monster track. And this is one of, when the song is that long, I can truly express myself as a musician, I as a songwriter. It's like there are no boundaries, there are no schemes. You don't have to stay, in the 3 minutes and a half, 3 minutes for the radio edit. It's just, I have freedom. And this freedom just gives me, a good vibe, a good sensation.
Yeah, that's what I love about like that symphonic metal genre, is just that, like you say, the freedom not to get stuck in this 3-4 minutes, and people can truly get creative, and there's songs out there that are even 15 minutes long, and you just get immersed yourself as the listener, and it doesn't feel like it's that long, and people, then you introduce that to others who may not be so used to that, and they're like, whoa, 7 minutes. It's crazy.
But it has to be, there must be variety.
Yes.
Because 7 minutes can be extremely boring if you think.
Yes. Yeah. It can be, but if it's done right, it's like you're kind of listening to a mini movie, if you will, and you're going on this adventure and on this journey, and I don't doubt that for a second that this is what you guys have done, because everything you've released so far has been absolutely brilliant in my humble opinion. What do you guys hope listeners take away from your music?
Well, this again connects to what we were saying before, like I hope that we bring dreams, like I truly hope that when you press play, when you push the play button, and start listening to our record, you truly come on board, and this is again why we try to be so consistent with videos, with lyrics, and with, everything. In an ideal world, the listener gets the lyrics under his eyes, reads the stories while, it listens to the music. And I so much wish we could have, produced 12 videos, because at the very end, we have ideas for all the songs, and it's always a struggle to choose a single, because we know that we could put on a big story, a big mini movie, as you call it, for every song. You will soon watch the video of Tonight I'm Alive, and it's a completely different concept from whatever we've done before. But, Tonight I'm Alive has a strong message. It's like tomorrow is uncertain. You don't know what's going to happen. You have to live today, you have to live now, because tonight you're alive, and in our story tomorrow there is a battle, so you don't know if the pirates will survive. But this is a metaphor to say that you don't know. I don't want to be negative, but everything could happen tomorrow. So it's so important to live the instant, to live the present moment. And there is a duality, there is a dualism in this video, like of what happens in the night of the party and what happens in the following day. And there is like scenes that are repeated somehow once, like on the night before, and on, like, my hat falls on the first day and my hat falls on the second day, and you see this one after the other. So it's, the entire video goes on like this. What I want people to do is to impersonate in our crew, come on board with us, join us, be there on the party, be there on the tragic moment during the following day, and live the dream. Because, as you said, escaping from reality, it's such an important thing nowadays. Just to be free, just to enjoy the present moment without distraction, without task. We wake up in the morning, and the first thing we say to ourselves is, what do I have to do? What do I have to do? This is unbearable to me. Like, what do I dream to do would be the right thing to say in the morning. Okay, where do I go today? As a question, not thinking of the tasks. Because this is our lives nowadays are tasks. And I believe that everyone needs a pirate helper, that can tell you, hey, forget about your tasks, come on board, the ocean on the horizon has no goal, no specific goal. We just go and we explore. This is what we want to do, and this is what we want to offer to our fans.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's such a brilliant way to go about life. I mean, I try and do that myself. I try and wake up and I try and grab the day by its horns and just try and live it for that day, because as you say, you just don't know what tomorrow will bring, and you just don't know if today will be your last day on earth. Anything can happen, and I try and live by that myself. So I love that that's what you guys are trying to put out there to your audience. Of course, you guys are heading into festival season right now. Do you approach like these festival shows differently than you would just these normal everyday tour dates?
So festivals, of course, offers you most of the times, unless you are the headliner, which is like only happening a couple times this summer for us, a shorter set list. So the energy balance is completely different. The energy balance is, you have to understand how to like optimize the set list, your own energy, in the way you deliver. So there is definitely a different approach, especially because before you, right after you, there are other bands, and some bands really create a big expectations on the fans, because sometimes you have big names playing after you. I will never forget, once there was a festival in Italy, and Iron Maiden was headlining, and after every band, people were screaming Maiden, Maiden, Maiden. And I was like, oh, this is such a bad thing to do, because can you imagine being, I don't know, I remember Dragon Force were playing, or Evergrey were playing. Can you imagine being one of these bands and hearing people singing Maiden, Maiden, Maiden? Of course, this doesn't happen all the time, people,
Right.
But it's a challenge. A festival is a challenge. You truly need to give 200% of your energy, because people are not there for you, most likely, at least not at our level, not where we are now. So the moment in which the show is over and you see people with big smiles and convinced of what you just did, especially dressed up as a pirate, trying to take them in a universe that different from our own fans, they might not want to be into. Well, if the challenge is achieved, if it's a successful day for us, then it's double the pleasure, double the feeling of happiness for us.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes total sense. Of course, being out on the road and touring, how do you take care of your physical and your mental health?
So mental health is complicated. Mental health is complicated because there are so many things to do, especially I mean, we all distribute roles in Visions of Atlantis, so we all have our to-do things on the road. So I believe we are lucky because the band is pretty balanced on this, and no one is doing nothing. Like we are a good team, but at the same time, there is so many responsibilities, and the more we go on, the more the show gets bigger, the more things we have to do, and to take care of, because even if you have a crew of 10, 12 people, you still have a lot on your shoulders. With that said, when there is happiness and when there is commitment and when there is, this vocation, because I think it's a vocation, everything feels good, like you do it for a reason, and this is a drive that it's that cannot be bought with money or anything. When it comes to the physique, we always try to cut a couple hours every 2 days or so to go to the gym. It's so important. All of us, like we have some international subscription. When it's in the United States, luckily you have some free days that you can take advantage of in several gyms, and it renovates every year. So touring once per year, it's kind of easy, even if it's not even said that we play the same cities. So it's important, especially in our show when there is a lot of things happening. You've seen it. You know how much we run around. We do things with our body. We're not a static band that just stands. We don't take advantage of a LED wall that does the job for us. We have to do it our own.
Yeah. So, what are your goals, your personal goals for 2024, but also your goals for the band for the rest of this year?
I mean, it's a growth. It's a journey that I personally started when I was 18, when I did the first real shows. I was playing before, but it was not real shows. And I was playing in pubs in front of people that were going there to drink and enjoy the music, playing
Hmm.
covers. And now I find myself in these big stages, and I think that this is pretty much the story of everyone in Visions of Atlantis and so many other musicians. You don't do it with a goal, because if you put yourself a goal, this is where delusion comes in. Like if I would say my goal is to play in front of 1,500 people in a headline run in America in 2025, maybe this doesn't happen. In 2026, maybe this doesn't happen. So I don't want to live with delusion. I enjoy the journey, because the journey itself, it's the pleasure of being a musician. And whoever as a musician gives himself some goals creates expectations, and expectations are truly a bad things, in my opinion. So without saying I want to do this, except by saying I want to play,
Hmm.
live, this is the absolute goal. But except for that, I just want to keep on living this journey, because it gives me so much on every level, that yeah, if there is time to stop in the future, it's not the time now.
Yeah. No, that's a nice way to look about it. Because, like you say, if you do set goals and then you don't meet them, you're only just going to be disappointed, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I believe that it's the same for you as a YouTuber. Like if
Hmm.
you say to yourself, I want to reach 2 million subscribers within the next 3 years, what if it doesn't happen? Are you a failure? No, you're not. Like
Yeah.
it's just things, satisfaction comes through appreciating what you have and what you're achieving with every little step, day by day. This is a super, super, super important message that at least makes me happy. And I hope, if it's inspiring to others, I'm sure that this is a great way to find personal happiness.
Yeah. No, I'm totally on board with that because as a YouTuber myself, I know a lot of others tend to check their analytics and their numbers, and I'm just like I don't care about that side of things. All I care about is building this community and discovering music together, and that's what I love, and that's, of course, I wouldn't have discovered your band if it wasn't for the channel, and I wouldn't be sat here talking to you today if it wasn't for the
Yeah.
channel. And it's amazing to see how far we have come in the 4 years that I've been doing this, and yet there's still this road ahead that I don't know where it's going to lead. And I kind of like that, because you can just enjoy it as it is and take it as it comes. And yeah, it's a really good way to look at it. Do you want to tell the audience who are watching this interview what your future plans are for the rest of the year?
Absolutely, absolutely. So first of all, we still have quite some festivals. We only play 2 summer festivals. We're talking about Europe here, uh,
Mm-hmm.
for now at least. But yeah, right now there are no summer festival scheduled for 2024. And I believe that we still have some water to pass under the bridge before we can join the United States circuit of festivals. But this is for sure something I would dream of taking part of. And then we have our biggest tour ever, which is the Armada tour, with 33 shows across Central Europe, together with Illumishade and with Serena Telly, which casually are both Swiss bands, both Illumishade and both Serena. And with Illumishade, we just finished touring the United States together with Corpiclani, so it will even more strengthen our friendship, because they are amazing people, and I think we can say that we had quite some fun together. I'm looking forward to touring with them. And 2025, we truly need to be back to the United States, bringing the Armada tour overseas. We found El Dorado in the United States. We started touring in 2022. Let's forget about what happened in 2020 when the pandemic jumped in and stopped the tour with Dragon Force, but we managed to be back. And since then, we've met so many amazing people, fans. Every time we were coming back, there were more people dressed up as pirates at our shows, and there is a community that is
Mm-hmm.
growing. A community of Vision Atlantis fans that truly want to come to our show to do what we are expecting them to do, to forget about reality, dressing up as pirates, coming on board on our ship and traveling. So for sure, we won't be a band that will ignore the United States. From now on, since this journey is going so well overseas, we will keep on coming back. I hope every year, but it's not always possible.
Mm-hmm.
But for sure, it's always going to be in our radar. And yeah, it's time to be there once again as a Lightning Act, bringing a bigger production and making you all join the Armada.
I can't wait. It's funny you say that, because I think the first time that I did come and see you, I was going to dress up, but then I just kind of chickened out. So next time, I'm definitely going to get myself an outfit and join in properly that way. I have a question.
Please do.
Yes, I'm so excited. I have a question just for fun, because you are part of this pirate band, this pirate story, and it's kind of silly, kind of fun. If you could be any sort of sea creature, whether that's real or is something from fantasy, what would it be and why?
If I would be someone,
Yeah, like as a sea creature, like a whale, a dolphin,
yeah. Me, that's silly, because like, I can tell you what I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be a kraken, because I'm a way more rational person than it might seem. I'm overthinking too much sometimes, and I believe that the kraken is like one of these creatures that like just goes with the flow without thinking. So, what would I be? maybe some sort of lonely fish, some big fish. I wouldn't say a shark, that's too bold. I'm not that bold, I'm not that aggressive. But yeah, help me out with fish names in English, because this is definitely not something that I've studied. But what? Is it swordfish?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe a swordfish with lights, like with swordfish with a laser blade, like a mix between Star Wars and Pirates of the Caribbean. It's a silly creature that I just invented, but this would describe me, like, because I believe that I'm a bright person, and I believe I'm one of these people that try the most to bring brightness and lightness around me. So I like the idea of this lonely fish that travels beneath the ocean, bringing light here and there, spending some time with this creature, sometimes with this other creature, bringing some happiness, and then going on its path, because this is how I feel, honestly. And yeah.
No, I definitely get those vibes from you, especially when I met you in person. You were just so kind and humble, and you did have this light like emanating from you, and it was just nice to be in your company. You did throw me off, however, with like the double kiss. I was like, oh.
Yeah. That's the Italian way.
Yeah. I'm not going to keep you much longer, Meek. Do you have any last words for people watching this, of just thanks or anything like that?
Well, thanks to you, of course, for inviting us, for inviting me, and for inviting, of course, Visions of Atlantis, because it's always a pleasure to, drop some more words than just the music, because we can give some concept, we can, explain some stuff that otherwise remains unknown, unless someone truly digs into interviews here and there. But it's, like a channel like yours, it's definitely a visible channel. So it's a big pleasure. And of course, I hope I convinced you guys to take a look at what we are doing. If you don't know us, like, you will find a very different version of myself with a pirate outfit and everything. But that's exactly the point. Like, you are looking at this video right now with your own clothes. I expect you to become a pirate and join us in our adventure, because I promise you, even if you don't like our music, at least you will love the concept. Unless you hate pirates. If you hate pirates, well, at least we tried.
Right.
Who hates pirates?
Right. I don't know. I don't think I've ever met anybody who said, "Oh, that's not my thing," to be honest.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Meek, for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be here today. Guys, of course, Pirates 2 Armada is out on July 5th via Napalm Records. I will leave that pre-order link down below in the description, along with all the links where you can find Visions of Atlantis, from their YouTube channel to their social medias. Please go ahead and subscribe, follow, like, comment. It truly does help. Again, thank you so very much, Meek. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you. And see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to become a Taurian. Speaking of becoming a Taurian, all of my social media links and my Discord link are down in the description. We'd absolutely love to have you come hang out in the Discord community, and I will see you guys in the next video. Rock on.